Stop caring what other people think. I've been reading a little bit the last few days about Willie Nelson and his thoughts on life. He's like 92, 93 now. And what's motivated him to stay active and excited about life and giving him purpose for him to get up every day and go through the motions of what needs to get done, having what's his why, what's his purpose, what motivates him to be Willie Nelson. And I want to share my thoughts about that with you. Stop. Welcome to Goose Pond Hideout. Yep, Goose Pond Hideout. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Honk, 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 honk. With Rob. Stop caring what other people think. Your dreams. You want to live your dreams. You want to take your life in the path that you want it to go in. And it sounds kind of mean, kind of cruel. It sounds cold if you gotta, stop caring what other people think. What am I talking about? And, the thing is, like with Willie Nelson, he gets up every morning. He's thankful for waking up, which I guess when you're 92 years old, that kind of makes sense that you'd be thankful for waking up the next morning. And, the things that give him purpose in his life, the things that, motivate him to continue on doing what he does every day. And because, even at my age, and I'm Social Security age now, in my late 60s, some days, you kind of wonder, what you're doing, and please don't take this the wrong way. I'm not inferring anything, but sometimes, you kind of feel like you're just waiting to die. What are you doing? And that's what I'm trying to talk about is, the motivation, the purpose, that what drives you to live your dream. And the thing is, most people out there just hope. They just hope that life gets better. They, well, I wish I had more money. I wish I was rich. I wish I had a better job. I wish I had a nicer car. I just, I sure hope those things happen. But they don't have any purpose. They don't have a why in their heads. Why am I doing what I'm doing every day? What's the purpose of what I'm doing in the moment right now? And that's why the first step is to just stop caring what other people think. Because when you start talking about your dreams or your plans or what motivates you or the direction in life that you want to go, the people around you, your family, your friends, co-workers, the people that are in your little universe, they're going to consciously and or subconsciously sabotage your plans. And the reason for that is in their own minds, they're concerned about, you going off doing something stupid. And if you do go off and do something stupid and you're successful at it, it makes them realize that, they're living a lie in their life, that they're not doing what's making them happy. And if you win, it shows them that they're losing. And does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Let me know. So like an example is back in 2005, we walked away from our real world hamster wheel rat race life and we moved on to our sailboat full time. And of course, family, friends, everybody said, we were crazy. They thought we were nuts. That, why give up a high-paying career and a nice big house and a car and a pickup truck and a motorcycle, and all those things to live on a sailboat and cruise around, the Gulf. What are you? You think you're like Captain Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean or Caribbean? Is it Caribbean or Caribbean? But it was hard for people to think, to grasp that, we were going to give everything up and live on a sailboat and sail around in the Gulf. And 2, 3, 4 years later, those same people started, realizing that, hey, they're really doing it. They're happy, they're successful, they're living the life that they want to live. And I'm back here slaving at 9 to 5 at a job that I don't like. And they started asking questions about, how we were, they were excited all of a sudden, once we proved that we could do it. And that's the thing, you've got to have a why. You can't just hope that things are going to get better. And that's what most people do, is they just hope that life gets better. And you have your dream. You've got to have an action plan. You've got to, write it down. I made all kinds of notes. I even wrote like a little book back in the day when we moved onto the sailboat. I had a 3-ring binder, and I wrote out why we were doing what we were doing, and I took photographs, and I shared stories, and I even had the Captain Ron video to, motivate myself and explain it to other people why we were doing what we were doing. And I had a big red X on the calendar it was August 1st, that no matter what happened, we were, going to be gone on that day. We were going to get in the car with the trailer with all our belongings and start the engine and head on down to the sailboat down on the Gulf Coast. And we were way up north. And that's, what you need to do is if you want your dream to happen, you've got to stop caring what other people think, because they're going to, again, sabotage you intentionally or unintentionally, and make your plan. Like, say, for example, you want to get in better shape, that, you want to lose 15, 20 pounds. You want to, start exercising and eating better and taking care of yourself. If you tell people, your family, your friends, your coworkers, hey, I'm going to join the gym and I'm going to, get a better diet plan, eating more fresh foods and less processed foods, and I'm going to go to the gym 4 times a week, and they're going to be like, oh man, you're just not going to follow through. You'll do that for like 2 or 3 weeks or maybe a month, and you'll get tired of that. Because if you are successful at that, if you lose the 15 to 20 pounds, if you get in better shape, if you start, jogging and physically fit, and you're eating better foods, and you quit eating all that processed crap, it makes them look bad. It makes them realize, they're living a lie, because they say it can't be done, and you've just proved them wrong that it can be done. And that's, what I'm talking about. Is you've got to laser focus on your dream. You've got to know why you want to do it. You can't just say, I want to be rich, or I want to have more money. You've got to say, what are the steps to exactly what you want to do. If you want to be out here on the homestead, you're living in a city, and if you tell all your family and friends that, I think I'm going to move out to the country and homestead, they'll be like, oh, property's too expensive, it's too hard to move, hospitals are too far away, the grocery store is too far away, you're not going to have any friends out there, and they're just going to be negative Nellies about everything to discourage you from chasing your dream, because again, it makes them look bad because they're not doing theirs. They're just hoping that their life's going to get better. And, that's not what I want for you. I want you to stop caring what other people think, not in a mean way, not to be cruel or cold, but that's how you get to do what you want to do in your life. And think about your why, write it down, have a game plan. Today I'm going to do this. Get up in the morning like Willie Nelson and be thankful that you're converting oxygen into carbon dioxide, and have a purpose so that you don't feel like you're just waiting to die when you get old, and because you're out here in the homestead and you get in that routine of you get up in the morning and you make your pot of coffee and you drink your coffee and you go out and you let the chickens out of the coop and you let the geese out of the coop and you feed the dogs and the cats, and then you sit in your chair, and 2 hours later, you go out and you chop some firewood or mow the grass with your string trimmer. God, I love that string trimmer. That's my favorite piece of equipment. We bought that thing that was in the welcome there when I was doing Welcome to Goose Pond Hideout. That string trimmer is by far my favorite piece of equipment. I like to let the grass get kind of tall and long. The chickens and the guineas and the birds like it, and bees and nature, rather than having a manicured golf course lawn. Seems kind of silly. So that's why I let it grow and then cut it down and let it grow and cut it down, and all the critters like that with my favorite tool. So that gives me purpose. That's my why. So I can use my string trimmer. So again, it's just, I hope it's making sense about thinking about, your purpose, your why are you on this planet? What's your role? Are you helping other people? What's your thing? And then you doing what really motivates and drives you, and not being concerned about what other people are thinking. Sometimes you got to kind of break the rules. What's that saying of Steve Jobs there, that why join the Navy when you can be a pirate? And if you want to solve a problem, you've got to really define it, so then you can, that's half the battle. I think Albert Einstein said that half the battle of solving a problem is defining it. So you've got to define what it is you want to do. Write it down, put it up on the refrigerator so you can visualize it, and that's because it's about had to look over there to make sure I was lined up. It's about your freedom, right? Freedom. Thanks.